It's like, I'm happy, I love you, and you can do whatever you want. And even if you find somebody else you want to hang with, that's okay, because I'm coming too.
You're not getting rid of me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Love, Loss, and Hallucinations. This week's guest, well, I think for a lot of you, she probably doesn't need an introduction. She's kind of an icon in quite a few fields, whether it's music or LGBT community or getting to be more in plant medicine. But I'm going to give her one anyway. Today's guest is Melissa Etheridge. She is a singer, songwriter, musician, guitarist who's, she's done a couple things. She's won 2 Grammys. She's had an Academy Award for Best Original Song, I Need to Wake Up. She's recently, in the last couple of years, and we're going to talk about this, started a foundation that supports research into using plant medicine to overcome opioid addiction. 2023, she released a memoir titled Talking to My Angels. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and has sold 25 million albums plus over. And that is just like, that is never going to happen again. So, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. For anyone. But
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Yeah.
And she has just put out her 17th album. And let me tell you, someone who, has an indie label, putting out one album is a Herculean, I'm not saying that correctly, Herculean task. So to get to 17, it's called Rise, and it just came out March 27th. I've been listening to it, and we're definitely going to talk about that. All of these things weave together with the topics of the podcast. So, Melissa, welcome to the podcast. So lovely to have you.
My pleasure. What a great podcast. What a great topic to, not even topic, what a great, the name of it. Just you're putting your purpose right out there, and that's just beautiful.
Well, thank you. Well, and I guess, we can start with the album that just came out. And, this is an album, having listened to it a couple times, that to me, it's for anyone who's been like through the ringer of life, and is, or is currently going through it. And, if you're currently going through it, it's hopeful. If you've already gone through it, you're like, oh yeah, I relate to that. That makes sense to me. I guess, tell me, I happen to know from researching it, but what was the inspiration for, because it's been a couple of years. It's been, your last album was 2021, and looking back at your discography, that's might be the longest break between albums.
And even that album that came out in 21 was an older album, because that was a pandemic, and we were looking for product. And I said, well, I've got this old thing that I recorded back in 2013 of older songs that I had done in the studio and didn't keep them. And so that wasn't even like a new
wow
look at my life. So it really been since Medicine Show, which was 2018 maybe. So it's been about 8. Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a minute
since I've sat down and looked around me, looked at my life, looked at my experience, and said, okay, I want to go through that inspiration thing again, that channeling this music through. I'm ready to open up to that. And that was exactly what I did. And I knew this in like 2023. I told my management, I told everyone, next thing we are doing is a full-on album where I'm going to write it all of 24. I'm going to record it in 25. We're going to put it out in 26. and we all, just said, okay. And we set our sights
to
there.
The task,
And it unfolded so beautifully, and the writing, the experience of writing it, I really was kinder to myself than I've ever been in any of my creative endeavors.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because I'm wiser now. I'm older, and I know it doesn't pay to be critique yourself. It doesn't pay to put yourself down. It doesn't pay to think negative thoughts about yourself. That just doesn't work at all. So if anything wasn't working, I would just stop and go, okay, not today. I'll start again tomorrow, and I'd really let myself just move in a forward, a positive direction. I didn't caught up in anything.
Yeah, well, and that certainly comes through just the authentic. I mean, you're so good at being authentic, confessional, like those, wherever you have been in your life, just like sharing it with your audience, which is, it just gives me chills. Like just having that skill and being willing to be vulnerable in that way is a beautiful gift to all of us out here. And, for this album, I just want to touch on, before we kind of get into some of the specific songs, you said channeling the songwriting. Now, I've had a few musicians on here, and we kind of always get around to this topic of like, where are the songs coming from? And so where are you on that?
Well, it was interesting because I just saw it was something going around on the social media things and my, but when it comes to me, the algorithm, and I got something about Michael Jackson saying that he used to wake up at 3 a.m. and write, because he said if he didn't, those ideas would go by and Prince would get them or something. And he literally,
right.
that's what he said. Bob Dylan used to say, look, I was just lucky to be the one that got them. I completely, it's the only way to explain what I do. So I could sit here and say, oh yeah, I think up everything. I think up all these things, but we hardly know what thinking is anyway. Really, we're all backwards about what our brains are doing.
Yeah. What is consciousness?
Yeah. What is consciousness? But when you get the definition and the understanding that consciousness is hooked into a big, huge consciousness, and we're all, part of that, then, oh yeah, I'm just making myself available. I'm making myself a vessel, whatever term you want to use in that moment. I'm asking, saying, hey, help me, take these moments and thoughts and pictures and help me put it in. Actually, this time it was the least amount of words. It's not easy, but I used to, I loved words, and I would just, put lots and lots of words together.
Lots of lyrics.
Yeah. And this album, I said, I want it to be powerful with the fewest words I can use. That was my intention on this album.
Well, I think you achieved that. And there is a certain power in being able to get it all across in fewer words. Was there a moment in your career where you kind of came to this realization that, oh, this isn't me. This is something just bigger than me that happens to be coming through me?
Yeah, it was my album called The Awakening.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. This was at a time when I went through cancer. And there's nothing like a little life and death sort of morality in your face to go, whoa, what, to give some time to that spiritual side of me. And because I've been a creator all my life, I was closer to that than, let's say, most people might be. And so I just right after cancer, and also I had a heroic dose of cannabis right before the cancer, and that's really what really changed my mind. But we can get into that. There's so much to talk about.
There is so much to talk about. We only have an hour, and I'm like, we could go for 3, I'm sure. Well, let's put a pin in that, because I definitely want to get back to that, because that also relates, I think, sort of to the groundwork for the foundation you've since started. Juicy. Well, just a couple songs on your, because it's about love, it's about loss, and just life in general. And, on the love side, If You Ever Leave Me, certainly to me feels like a love song to your wife.
Yes.
And it starts out in the 80s, which is cool, like this flashback to you in the 80s, and then fast forwards to you with your current relationship.
Yeah. No, it's funny. That song, I really did not intend for it to be on the album. It was, and I was having fun writing it. I was just, a lot of times I'll just write whatever's there and just, move on. And I was laughing so hard as I was writing it. I finally went out and I went out to my wife after I finished it, and I said, "You have to hear this." And I said, "It's a love song to you." And she looks at me because I'd been laughing the entire time I was back. I said, "No, just wait, just wait." And I did the first line, and when I said "spritz in my mullet," she fell out, and I laughed. And it took forever for me to actually get through the whole song. But that's the joy of the relationship I have with my wife. It is, it supports both of us in such an amazing way because each of us knows how important our own work on ourselves are.
Right.
And when you're focusing on yourself and really working it and having a partner beside you, very different than looking at your partner saying, you need to change this and that for me to be happy, because that's disaster.
Yeah. Instead of you need to fill this hole for me.
Yeah.
Let's each kind of do
Let's
our
each
stuff
work
and
on filling our holes so we can love each other better and smoother. And
100%.
yeah, and that's what that song's about. It's like, I'm happy, I love you, and you can do whatever you want. And even if you find somebody else you want to hang with, that's okay, because I'm coming too.
You're not getting rid of me.
No,
The
no,
relationship might change, but
we got a
always,
good thing here.
Yeah. I definitely relate to that. There was a period where Tiffany, my wife, and I almost got divorced. And because of plant medicine, actually, I got to the point where I was like, well, even if she leaves, the love is still going to be there. Right.
There you go.
And after that, it was like, I don't know, that just loosened things up. And
it's about you. It's not about them. Once you go, okay, whoa, that's not love. This sort of, you can't leave me. That's not love. That's fear. That's all those other emotions.
Control. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're like, no, okay, well, I love you, and I want, if leaving is what you need to do for you, okay, great. But I'm going to be close by, but
Well, and I feel you've kind of, just with what you're saying, you've kind of already touched on my next question, but I'm just wondering if, you had two big serious relationships before your current wife, and did each of those, what might have you learned from each of those that helped make your current relationship stronger, I guess?
Oh, that's all I've been doing for the last 40 years is learning through relations with, that's all we're really doing here, is having relationships with each other. And, my first, well, I mean, heck, it started with my mother, and then you can see, and I even did a whole Broadway play on how I made choices, and then you learn and you grow, and boy, by the time I finally looked at Linda and went, wow, that's actually the kind of person I want to spend the rest of my life with. This is, you're just making different choices.
Yeah.
You realize, oh, that's going to go a lot better.
And then you're like, why did it take me 40 years to figure this out?
Because that's what it takes.
Yeah,
that's what it takes. That's life, and that's the learning part.
Yeah, indeed. Well, and just a couple other songs. I mean, so many to touch on, but there's so much to talk about. So, going kind of towards the end of the album, you have these two like yin and yang songs almost. It feels like there's "Call You," which I'm assuming is around your son Beckett, who passed away from fentanyl in 2021, if I'm correct. 2020, sorry. And then the next song, "More Love," which I've read you wrote for your daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
And just that the balance of those two is such a good way to like take you down and like crush your heart. And oh my God, it's so crushing. And then lift you back up.
Yeah. "Call You" was the first song I wrote for the album, because I knew I would have to address the loss of my son. I knew I would have to address it for myself. It was the opportunity. You know what? Take everything I've learned and grown, take how I feel in this loss, in this incredible, one of the hardest losses a person can even think of.
Yeah.
And to create a piece of art that someone else who's going through it could hold and feel seen, and then also feel hope.
Yeah.
How do you get out from that? And that's that has been my journey these last 6 years now. How about that? It's been 6 years.
Wow.
This
Yeah.
month.
Well,
It's like
and just to read this one line that I think one set of lyrics that speaks to that, you sing, because we can drown in guilt and shame when it comes to sons and daughters, but I will not stop loving if I can't call you anymore. I mean,
yeah. It's about I won't stop living. I won't stop trying. Even if I can't call you anymore. That's the way it starts. And the song starts, since I can't call you anymore, I'm gonna take a drive. I'm gonna go move. I'm gonna be with people, but I'm gonna still think about you. Even since I can't call you anymore, right?
yeah.
That habit that of a parent constantly thinking about their children. It's a very hard thing to break. So you have to replace it with something. You have to, okay, now I'm going to go garden. I'm going to go out in the garden. I'm going to put my fingers in the dirt, and I'm going to think about you. And you know what? Then, Jesus helped me through this. It's funny. I use the term Jesus. I'm not a religious person, but the icon that is Jesus, that just that word, is something outside yourself, something you're reaching for to help me, because I feel like I'm drowning, and walking on the water, and because we can drown, in guilt and shame. And so
Yeah.
once I wrote that song, got it out of the way, then more love could rise up. And I didn't know I was going to put those songs next to each other. So I couldn't find a song to put after Call You, except more. I mean, it's like, what am I going to do on the
I mean, it makes such perfect sense. Well, did the song Call You, did you happen to learn anything about your own grief and loss from writing the actual song, or you pretty much gone through the process and it was just kind of encapsulating it?
That's a good question. I have yet to sing it live in an audience, so we'll see. That might be the learning, because it helped me practice what I preach. It helped me to say, look, I tell everybody, you've got to you are what you think. So I got to start putting new thought about this. And so now once I get on stage, we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
So would you say on some level, spiritual level or otherwise, that your relationship with Beckett still continues?
Oh yes, I have
Yeah.
my belief is that there is a non-physical. I believe we are focused physical. We're focused physiality, and the greater part of us is non-physical, is where Beckett and my father and my grandmother and where everyone else is. And we're here doing this. So I feel that even just thinking about him, it's right here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. And I know, I think you lost your father relatively early, right?
Oh, way early. Yeah, I was
And
only 30. He was 16.
yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very early. I mean, it's weird to say, did that loss help you with Beckett, or is it two just completely different situations, really?
They are different, but the feeling loss
Mm-hmm.
is to be appreciated, and there's a certain gratitude about it. And even if because we're all going to feel loss. It's part of human.
Yeah,
It's
inevitable.
inevitable.
Yeah.
And what comes from it is, it's like it's like winter. Loss is like winter. Things die, then things grow, and you have to tend to what's growing. Now I forgot your question totally. That's my problem.
Well, it was just like if there was a different experience around your dad's loss
Oh
versus
yeah,
Beckett.
yeah,
But I, having had loss in my life as well, it is, I feel like until you experience something like that, you aren't experiencing perhaps the full empathy that you possess if you lean into that grief and that loss. And then that in turn, crazily, can help make you a better person around
yes,
others.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then to end, more love. What a beautiful song. Can envision you like singing at your daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
Was there anything specific around that, or was it really like my daughter's getting married? I want to sing a song at her wedding.
It kind of was two things at once. I didn't know if I was going to get it to sing at my daughter's wedding because she was in charge of her wedding and it was going to be about her.
Right,
But,
right.
but then by the end I got to sing because she asked me to sing a Casey Musgrave song, Rainbow.
Mm,
And so I said yes. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to sing another song. But I was writing More Love anyway because I did want to write about that. And I was referencing my daughter and her life so far and wanting to tell her these things, realizing that I could sit my daughter down and preach to her all day. And she's so not, none of my children, they're not supposed to.
no, gotta
They're
learn it
going to
yourself.
make their choices. I love you. I love you. That's all. You're
Yeah.
just looking for more love. And I love you. I love you.
Totally. Well, and one line stuck out to me for probably a reason you weren't intending, but uh and as you were kind of saying, you're like trying to tell your daughter and these things, but and the lyrics are, there's a point where you say no more. You
Yeah.
take the ride into your soul. You change your mind and it makes you whole. Then the healing starts to flow. And I mean, that's so much about life. But what stood out to me about that was like, oh, that sounds like a plant medicine journey.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And wherever, to me, it came with a plant medicine journey.
Mm.
Other people,
Mm-hmm.
there is no one way to your higher self. I don't know how to this thing that we all have a hard time explaining.
Yeah.
There's no, you have to do plant medicine and you have to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
You may be able to do it in yoga someday. You may be able
Mm-hmm.
to meditating. You may have a life and death experience. You may be sitting looking, which I am, at a gorgeous river right here, and it may blow your mind open.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no one ways. But what I wanted to explain in that last verse is you take the ride into your soul. There's a point where a person realizes it's not everything outside of me. Because I'm, even though I want all the conservatives to be liberal and I want all the Republicans to be Democrat, even though I want to change everybody,
Yeah.
that's never going to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
the world is as it is because we are different and we have differences. So to that point in your life where it's about you. You take the ride into your soul. It's not about getting anything, doing anything, making anything happen. It's,
Mm-hmm.
when you realize, wow, this is my life. And, you change your mind that, wow, I don't have to change everybody.
Yeah.
I have my choices. I can make a choice of how this makes me feel. That's freedom.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to put in there. Whatever it is, whatever ride you take into your soul, this is what happens. And then you get more love.
Isn't that the ironic thing, right? You go from trying to control and come from a place of fear for love to just being like, I'm just going to work on myself. I'm going to become a better person for myself. And then you in turn become a better person for other people. And somehow that starts to shift people around and how they react to you,
Yes.
and then you get what you want.
Isn't that amazing? Oh, but you can't tell anybody that.
No. Shh. Don't anybody listening, don't spread that. Well, and looping back to the plant medicine, I suppose,
Mhm.
you know, you started after your son died, you started the Etheridge Foundation. And maybe just tell people listening and watching, like, what's your purpose in starting that?
Well, the experience of my son being an addict, getting addicted to uh, opioids, pain relievers first. He had broken his ankle 2 places, and it just never, and it broke his heart and all sorts of things. And about 2 years of just sliding down the hill into
Mm,
addiction. At the same time, I have been having an experience of awakening um, and plant medicine journeys myself. Now, I remember as he was going in and out of rehabs, just and uh, nothing was sticking, nothing was working. I remember
mm,
that this can't be impossible. That nothing is impossible. There's just something, and having my own journey and going. This is what he might need, but he was 18, 19
mm.
years old. I can't, and I can't reach him. He also had custody with his other mother, and see these stuff. So it was out of my reach. But
Mm.
I started to feel very strongly that a plant medicine journey could help someone who is addicted
Hmm.
get off. And so after he did die, I got a very strong desire and thought that plant medicine can help with this. And I think there's people who know that somewhere.
Hmm.
And I knew that a lot of people wanted to send money to something.
Hmm.
So I said, can we take these, and I got my manager, uh, Deb Klein, to make me a 501c or whatever those things are.
Yeah.
And it became the foundation. I just started, when we hired Anna Simons as uh, who our CEO to run everything. She was connected and knew these
Mm.
folks who
Hmm.
had been, running the clinic in Mexico, had been doing this, and we just jumped right in and used the money and just bam, we've seen such great results in 5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy how short and the amount of ramping up of research. And just a quick aside is I have had Anna on the podcast as well. She was maybe around episode 15 or something. And wow, I mean, just such a tender heart. And she related this experience of loss that she had to go through that was just heartbreaking and just also inspiring. So that's also worth checking out. Any of you out there who haven't listened to it yet, but but
She's outstanding. Yes.
yeah. And but yeah, back to the foundation and the research. I mean, just in the last whatever month with the current administration, like switching it on for like 3 research grants, one of which I know the foundation. It's not the specific one you guys have put money into, but around psilocybin and major depressive disorder. It was one of the ones that the administration gave a fast track to. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, yeah, we're both just, for those who can't see, we're both
We're all
like
going
going
okay.
strike.
We're for this.
Yeah, I don't
That,
know.
that's a fun thing to come out of
Yeah,
that mess.
I
Okay.
mean, take the wins. I
Working.
saw.
Go with that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone's right occasionally, right?
You're right. Exactly. There you go.
um, well, I mean, anything that the foundation itself, any of the projects that you guys are funding that you're particularly excited about or think have really good potential around opioid use disorder?
Yeah. Number one is ibogaine. Is
Yeah.
iboga. The good thing about it, or I don't know, it is that nobody's doing this recreationally, right? No one's
Yeah.
going, hey, let's go over to Joe's and do a boga, because that's not,
No.
you're not going to do that. Because it's very intense. I've not experienced it. But what we're dealing with here is the DMT in our brains, and what it does to our brains to help disconnect the addiction neural pathway. It's a pathway. Once you hit it once you, like fentanyl, it's instant. But anything else, it's this neural pathway in your brain that just every day, would just goes, no, you need to do this now, and you can't think of anything else because that's your brain. Ibogaine, one treatment. One treatment goes, and the treatments are hours long, and they're very intense, and it's all about
18, 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really, this is no joke stuff.
Yeah.
But what it does, it disconnects that neural pathway. The whatever is in the iboga, boom. That's what I need to find more of the scientific terms instead of just the iboga and everything. and I'll get there.
Yeah.
But it disconnects it, and you have this window of days, of like 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
Very important window to reconnect different other neural pathways. Oh, good food, sleep, these things, happiness, and it's like surgery.
Yes.
And you can absolutely do it. And I actually explained to a Colorado state senator yesterday. I was explaining to him, because they're getting ready to vote on whether they're going to allow iboga research, or ibogaine in Colorado. And I was telling him, and he understood it that way. I said, it's the science is the neural, whatever it is in the ibogaine, it stops it, and it allows you to reset your brain. And that's it. There it is.
That's the magic
right
key.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's none in America. I'm hoping we can get this in Colorado, and we can set up research right there, and helping people right away.
Yeah. I would liken it similarly to, like, you keep doing these things again and again and again. You can't help it. Your brain just makes you do it almost. And the trench gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And ibogaine, well, all the psychedelics, but ibogaine in particular for this particular opioid issue, it fills in that trench with fresh dirt, and then you can plant new flowers if you, if you take the proper procedures afterwards to.
Yes. And that's where I want our foundation to focus next, is the proper, it's like integration and facilitation, aftercare, all of that. Very, very important that we set up these, something that would be very difficult to abuse or, not do right. And we want to get the best success out of it.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate and reemphasize, I guess, your point that ibogaine or iboga is definitely the most, like, dangerous of the psychedelics. And it has the most likelihood that you can die in cardiac arrest. So I just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. So don't go playing with ibogaine.
No messing around with that thing. Yes.
Yeah. And Colorado would be amazing. Texas is making great strides. It's, again, the irony to me that the most dangerous of the psychedelics is actually the ones that is most useful, it seems, for PTSD and opioid use, but also that, the conservative side of the world is like, oh, we can use this, we can support this because people aren't going to, as you said, party with it, They're not going to abuse it.
Yes. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy, but hopefully we can meet there and really make a difference the next few years.
Yeah. Well, and to loop back at the beginning, you mentioned your accidental superhero's journey of cannabis.
My heroic dose of cannabis.
I mean, let's get into that story a little bit. Like, how did that
Yeah.
happen, and what did you experience?
Well, plenty of us who have dabbled and do partake have overdone it, and on one form or another, and have really, gone out there, if that's what you say. So I was, this was right before cancer. It was just months before cancer. I was kind of at a funny place in my life, just kind of plateaued. It's one of those plateau things. Like, oh my goodness, my dreams came true. What do I do now? And
Funny how that happens, right? You're
yeah,
like,
it's
oh
like,
shit. Okay,
yeah,
now what?
now what? I've got a
Still
bit more of
feeling
my
a
life
hole?
to
I don't
live.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. I was, 43 years old. And so I had a girlfriend at the time who hadn't ever had edibles. And she was also, and she cooked, cookies. And so we made chocolate chip cookies, and she was very good. And she also didn't understand that, a quarter cup should just be a quarter cup. She was like, hey, a quarter cup's good. A whole cup's going to be great.
A
So
cup is better. Oh,
totally overdid it. And it tasted good, which is bad. So, so I ate one. I was like, no, I don't feel anything. So we ate another. And then, the munchies started to come on. So I ate another one. So it's way out of control.
Wow.
Out of control. Yes. And she passes out and she's asleep. And I go on a journey. Like,
wow.
More so than I ever have on ayahuasca or anything. I mean,
Wow.
it was one of these peak things that I probably the next thing I ever have to that will be the death experience. But that's a big, but it was all the information. It's the stuff you hear, all the download, the whole download came. The overwhelming sense of oneness and love, and these things that you get from journeys.
Yeah.
You get this calmness, this rightness with the world, this other side of existence and breathing and spirit, other than the problem solving consciousness. It's like that side of my brain, that left side of my brain, just went away for a while, and I was totally in the intuitive, the present, the spiritual present right now, and it was profound. It was an awakening. I woke up the next morning and was not the same, and really sort of went from there. And I became a very big cannabis advocate, because I was like, wait a minute, because when I got cancer, that's when just a few months later, I sort of combined those two things and went, wait a minute. And I didn't use any, I did do chemo for a while, and then I went, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah.
And just to use cannabis, and cannabis has been my medicine for I'm 22 years cancer free now. And it helps my nervous system and sleeping. And it's not for everybody, but it was for me.
Yeah, it worked. And that's another thing. Like, whether some people are like, cannabis, psychedelic or not, but obviously for you, yes.
If you eat 3 cookies, yes.
It will
Very
get you
much
there.
so. Yes.
And so, yeah, it sounds like, you've used some other psychedelics, but this is the one that speaks to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have also found that, not with cannabis, but with actually San Pedro or Wachuma. So, somehow, for whatever reason, certain medicines just speak to you in that way.
But that's the beauty of it. There's no one size fits all. It's we're all different, and we're going to relate to different things and be called to different things.
Yeah. And what during the 3 cookie journey?
Yeah.
The 3 cookie journey, was it? I'm curious, because I don't use cannabis a lot. Was it was it visual that you're getting all this, or was it more messages, just kind of downloading, or?
It was more messages. I've never been a visual.
Okay.
I don't hallucinate even on all the other stuff. And it was in the beginning, you feel that, oh, I'm going to die. I'm dying. My heart, going.
Yeah.
And you're shaking, and there actually came a point where I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. I thought, should I call somebody? Which I'm so glad I didn't. And because there would be that phone call of, no, I'm dying. I done too much. And you know how many times I've been called on that.
Oh my God.
Anyway, So I didn't call, and there was a moment of a click in my brain that went, well, if this is dying,
just go with it.
bad.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. Yeah. Okay. And then you stop, the ride stops becoming, you just go like that. And then the download was insane.
Wow.
It was just, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this and everything, that all fit together. And the biggest part then was I heard voices, and I never heard voices. And this is the only time I ever heard voices. And it's how you know you heard voices, because it was outside my brain, but it was not in my ears. It was somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was literally, well, should we tell her? And then I heard, and I was like, tell me what? And they said, well, the meaning of life. And I was like, okay, come on, bring it on.
Please, yes.
And that was the download. And the thing that came through it was, all of a sudden I heard this term, Christ consciousness. And I was like, no, were they right all along? And it's like, no, not how we understand it in the traditional Christian religion of America today, but in the consciousness, that this higher consciousness that we're all connected to and connecting and waking up to. So that was the major sort of download.
So the meaning of life is just that we are connected to this greater consciousness, and it is flowing through.
Yeah, that it's eternal. There's no death. Yes, these bodies are just temporary, but we are absolutely eternal. And that fear is the only fear. There's not a source of fear. There's only a source of wellness, and we choose to cut ourselves off from it and say, no, I'm fearful. I'm afraid of that or something. And it makes us feel it. So that there is just this love, everyone who has a near-death experience or whatever, they all come back into just great sense of love. And once you kind of, get that in your body, you're like, wow, I want to search for that now.
Yeah. Well, and that's also, it sounds like you did it intuitively, but, getting back to the integration, it's with the integration afterwards that you're able to hold on to that. Because if you just go back to your normal life and kind of forget about it, you'll lose it. So yeah.
Integration, it enables you to set up new habits.
Yeah.
All we are is habits, and habits are just thoughts we just think all the time. Yeah. And so when you get to know your mind, when you go, whoa, okay, there's my mind, and there's someone there's something observing my mind. There's more in here. When you understand and then bring it into a oneness, when you integrate into yourself, that gives you that helps you make different choices. So the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years is you're just going to keep getting better. And the better it gets, the better it gets. That's
absolutely. As we're coming down to the end of the podcast, I want to switch gears a little bit. And that is because, so I have a friend who just came out, and this friend is in their mid-20s, and community and friends around this friend seem to be very supportive and great. But the parents, unfortunately, seem to be rejecting to the point of disowning. Yeah. And I mean, this has just been in the last 5-6 months. I'm just wondering, having, gone through this whole ride, what advice, and I'm asking this now to you live because, not just for my friend, but for anybody else who's still, you would think, I want to think is this liberal person that we're past all that, but we are not, and not even close. So what kind of, what advice might you have for this friend?
Well, I would concentrate on your friend, and I would tell them that they, sort of what we were talking about earlier, they can't control another person's thoughts, and they can't make someone think or feel anything. So give up on that. don't try. And then if you could maybe put the thought in your head that they're really just ridiculously worried about you for no reason, but they had a choice of love or worry here, or love or fear, which is usually the two choices. And they chose fear. They chose worry. So the best thing you can do is put your attention on yourself, on what's going to make you happy. Because believe me, day after day, month after month of you being happy, they won't be able to resist it. They will see that you're so happy with it, and you'll have worked on yourself, and you'll find a great partner because you'll vibrate with that. And people will appreciate you and like you because you're whole and yourself, and you're not worried. When you choose, when you know that, then your parents, believe me, so many parents, it doesn't take that long for them to finally. My mother didn't talk to me for a year, I don't think, or two. And she always would say, she's gone now, but she would always say, well, it turned out all right. Like, Mom, and just forgive, accept, because you don't need to hold on to. You don't need them to accept you. That's not how it works. The more you accept you, the stronger you get until it is undeniable.
I mean, that's hallelujah. I love it. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for that. And thank you for my friend. Last but not least, 3 sort of speedish questions.
Okay.
In our last couple minutes. First one is, what is hallucination? And this could be a dream or something you thought was going to be one way and turned out something else, or it could be a straight up hallucination or altered state that you've had in the last year or two that has taught you something.
Oh, well, at the end of 2025, right? No, the end of 2024, I decided to go on an ayahuasca journey again. It had been almost 10 years. I hadn't gone to see the grandmother a long time. And so I had a journey, and I've done so much work, and I raised my vibration and gone to this point to where to where I live mostly in this state of grace and love. And it's a wonderful place to be. So when I journeyed the first night, and it was like, yeah, I know that, this is great. Fine. I was there. It's like, nothing. And so the second night I asked for a little bit more, and I think my intention was peace or something. And so we kind of go through the whole journey, and I get to the end of the night, and our beautiful facilitator, she was just Divina, which is a song on my new album.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. But she's like, how was that? And I said, well, peace is boring. I'm like, I just sat here. It was nothing was happening. And when I let go of, everything has to be peace, there has to be just peace. When I let go of that and went, the joy of life is that it's not all peace. We've got peace. Peace is non-physical. We're going to be back there. The joy of life is the differences, the dynamics, the contrast, the things that you don't like that really make you like the things you like. And you get to feel that on such a huge level. And so as I went into writing and continue writing this new album, I took that with me, that no, I wrote, I love being alive. This is what it's about. Actually, that's what I said.
First song on the album. Amazing. Yeah,
because after I said that, then grandma kicks in, and that whole night I went away for about 20,000 years. I don't know. So,
well, I love that it's, in the face of the things you don't like, that you discover and really find the joy in what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a great
That's the gift.
realization. Yeah. Second quick question. In the last couple of years, again, I mean, we've obviously talked about the loss of Beckett and some other losses you've had. Have you had any loss, good or bad, that you have learned from?
Oh, I didn't make it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh.
But that's not a loss. That's not a loss. And you know what? You know what is what that taught me, because I was like, oh, this is nice, and it's like, oh well, not this year, and is that stuff is it's sweet to, it is great to appreciate your peers appreciating you,
Of course.
and that's all great, but I already feel that inside myself. I
Yeah.
already feel like a rock and roll queen. I already I go on stage and I feel that. So
Yeah.
I've learned that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's nice to get the recognition, but
Yeah,
it's already there.
I've already feel that deeply inside myself.
And the last question, what are you loving right now?
I'm loving you right now. I've enjoyed this conversation
Thank you so much.
so very much. I'm loving being out
Amazing.
here. I'm loving this day. Like I said, I'm looking at the beautiful river. I've got a great show tonight that I'm going to do, and I love being alive.
Beautiful. I love that. And you're just like glowing right now. For those of you who can't see it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And speaking of tour, you're finishing up your East Coast one now. You're touring through the whole summer, and you have a big event in August 2nd, I think, at Red Rocks with the Colorado Symphony.
It's my only symphony show all year. Oh, and if you've never been to Red Rocks,
talk about a spiritual experience. Yeah.
Really, really. And everything's legal there. So go. And there'd be no excuse.
Amazing. I'll put your website and links to the new album down below and all that sort of thing. But this has been an amazing hour. Thank you so much for your authenticity that you've always had, and your vulnerability, and willing to talk about all these things that, people go through. And it brings us all closer when to hear it in your song and on the podcast.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Scott.
Wonderful. Thanks, Melissa.
Bye.